Yo, what's going on, yo? I'm JBHOOPS, and today I'm breaking down one of the best prospects in college basketball, that being the 6'7" Villanova freshman, Cam Whitmore. And let's just get right into it with some of his measurements and stats for the season. Whitmore missed the first part of the season with a thumb injury, but through 21 games he's averaged 12 points, over 5 rebounds, and a steal and a half per game, shooting a very solid 45.7% from the field, 32.6% from 3, and 70.8% from the stripe. And now let's break down his game. Starting it off with his self-creation upside, I'm going to talk about his driving and also a little bit about his shot creation ability. Driving is definitely Cam Whitmore's most dominant attribute. He's strong, explosive, and bursty, and these are all things that make an elite driver. His first step and burst from a standstill is absolutely ridiculous. He doesn't take super long strides, but he is just outrageously quick. And because of how strong and flexible he is, there are very few defenders who can prevent him from getting into the paint. Cam Whitmore is just a walking advantage creator, and as he develops his handle and works on some of his counters, he is going to be a problem. He's already got some impressive counters in his bag, and his handle has improved over the course of the season. He's busted out some hop steps, fakes, and early gathers, and I also really like his ability to play at multiple speeds. He's not just a full speed, out of control driver, and actually has some nice ingenuity. Cam Whitmore dunks everything he possibly can, but he also has the ability to finish with soft touch with either hand, and some of the acrobatic finishes he's pulled off through and around defenders have been insane. There are still definitely some things he needs to clean up as a driver though. He can be a bit loose with the ball when driving, getting stripped easily, fumbling the ball, and having issues in tight spaces. And there are also too many possessions where he's contained and isn't able to separate and still forces an ugly shot up, so he still definitely has some stuff to work on as a driver. Now on to his shot creation and pull-up shooting ability. I really wasn't expecting a whole lot from Cam as a shooter and self-creator, but he has been a serious threat with his off-the-dribble jumpers. He isn't much of a scorer in the mid-range, but he's made a few smooth-looking shots when defenses sit in the paint on him, but it's really been from behind the arc where his shot creation has shined. He loves going left and uses some nice crossovers and step-backs to create separation. However, I'd like to see him be a little less reliant on going left to shoot it, as it will be scouted out and taken away from him. But the constant threat of his drive helps a lot to shift defenders' balance and create enough space to get his shot off. His release is relatively quick, and with his excellent footwork, he can punish defenders when they go under on screens. I would like to see more of Whitmore as a self-creator, and I think we might see that more in the league. But ultimately, it just comes down to shot selection and recognizing how the defense is playing you, which is something Whitmore, like the majority of prospects, could stand to improve upon. And I think he needs to reduce some of the rushed, contested, off-the-dribble jumpers, as well as some of the early shot clock attempts. I also think his ability to score in isolation is limited by his hips not being super flexible, so sometimes he struggles to change directions, and his loose handle doesn't help either. However, I still hold a lot of hope that Cam Whitmore will be able to create his own shot at the NBA level. He has really solid touch, a smooth pull-up, and the athleticism and strength to create space. And I think his efficiency is only going to improve as he gets more comfortable getting to his spots and is more selective with his shot attempts. I don't know what I'm going to call this section of the video yet, but I just want to talk about the value Whitmore brings in transition, as a cutter, and just as an overall finisher. Cam Whitmore has improved a lot as an off-ball player, both through his shooting and his cutting. If he has a runway, it is very difficult to stop him. He's great at recognizing when a defender has their head turned so he can dive to the cup and finish strong inside. He's got good touch, great body control, and knows how to finish through and around defenders. He's also great at attacking off the catch and punishing poor closeouts. His burst is crazy, and if he turns the corner quickly, there is no stopping him. As you'd expect, Whitmore is also a monster in transition, and will get a lot of easy buckets leaking out and getting in passing lanes. Although he isn't the best when there's a defender back, as he tends to be a 2-foot jumper in crowds, but I trust his coordination and freakish bounce, and believe he'll develop the footwork, pickups, and counters to be an unstoppable transition player. Another area he needs to improve on is getting to the line. Whitmore is relentless at attacking the paint, but hasn't been able to figure out how to consistently draw fouls. A part of it is him just not getting calls, but he can also just put up some weak shots around the rim, and not make use of his coordination and athleticism to ideally position himself and put the pressure on the refs to give him a call. Another strength for Cam Whitmore is his defense. Whitmore hasn't been the most consistent guy on the defensive end, but for the most part he's been solid and had some incredible flashes both on and off the ball. Cam Whitmore possesses all the tools to be an excellent point of attack defender. He's obviously an unbelievable athlete, and his combination of explosiveness, flexibility, strength, and speed enables him to effectively defend multiple positions. He also has really quick hands and reaction speed, and he's great at getting a hand in and disrupting the ball handler. He can get down really low in his stance and slide to beat his matchup to a spot, block off a drive, or get a good contest, and he does a good job at funneling the ball handler into his help. At the moment, Cam is much more of a disruptive off-ball defender than a positionally and fundamentally sturdy one. He has excellent anticipation and is a menace in passing lanes, which leads to a lot of easy transition throwdowns. Whitmore's also shown his potential as a rim protector. He covers a ton of ground, is a super quick leaper, and has good timing and verticality. He hasn't been much of a shot blocker, and a lot of his rim protection is just good vertical challenges, but his 4 blocks last week against Butler were huge. He's also got a good understanding of rotations, and he's able to see and react to plays as they're developing, and he can also provide some energy and activity, denying the ball and digging in on drives. But he still makes too many mistakes off the ball. He can lose track of his man and get back cut, get stuck on screens, or gamble for steals and disadvantage his team, and at times he can be a little foul prone with some reckless ones. He also kind of relies on his incredible leaping ability to secure boards, so will miss a few too many box outs in the process. But overall, I think Cam Whitmore will make an impact defensively from day one, and could eventually develop into one of the better two-way players in the league. Next, I want to talk more about his shooting ability. Cam Whitmore's 3-point shooting will significantly impact his ability to maximize his greatest strength, which is obviously his ability to get to the rim and finish. Whitmore has developed a ton as a shooter over the past few years. He shot 45.5% at the FIBA Americas. His mechanics are smooth, he has a high release point, is unfazed by contests, and is dangerous both off the catch and off the bounce. I've been really impressed with his footwork and ability to square himself to the basket. He's great at shuffling and arranging his feet to balance himself, and shooting off hops, side steps, and step backs as well. He has good shot prep, and as a spot up shooter has been really solid, but his 3-point shooting is an area he'll have to continue to get better at in order to completely unlock the rest of his offensive game. Now I also want to talk a bit about his playmaking. Cam Whitmore's biggest area for improvement is definitely his on-ball decision making. He has solid vision and is capable of making difficult passes, both in tight spaces and with skip passes to open shooters. And obviously his ability to touch the paint at will greatly increases his playmaking value. But at times Cam is just a little slow to make a read, which results in a few too many bad turnovers. He might see an open guy and miss him, or not recognize his momentum and throw a pass behind him. And at times he can just do a little too much, have tunnel vision and take contested shots, or force up a layup with guys loaded up on him, and his loose handle can also lead to a few turnovers. I've also noticed him slipping and losing his balance quite a lot, and I'm not sure if it's an issue with the courts, his shoes, or just his ability to decelerate, but I think it's something to look out for. But regardless, the flashes have been impressive, and I think his decision making and passing will continue to improve with better spacing and NBA talent. Now finally, onto his draft range and some of my final thoughts. I'm a huge fan of Cam Whitmore's game, and I think he can develop into a two-way star in the league, whilst also being one of the game's best and most exciting athletes. He still has some improvements to make and work to do on his handle, shooting consistency, and decision making, but he's still just 18 years old, will still be 18 on draft night. He's a physical specimen and a relentless worker, and for those reasons I currently have Cam Whitmore as a top 5 player in the class, and I think he has a really good chance to be the highest drafted college prospect in the 2023 draft. Alright, that's all I got for this one. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. I'll make sure to check them out and respond. If you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more. And I'm really excited to see Cam Whitmore get to the league. Anyway, that's all I got. JBHOOPS, out.